When it comes to female psychology, one of the most misunderstood dynamics is why a woman leaves, and more importantly, why she comes back. You don't win her back with words, promises, or chasing. You win her back by who you become in her absence. A woman's attraction is emotional, not transactional. You can't convince her through logic that you've changed. She must feel the change in your energy, presence, and purpose. The first truth is this: women are emotionally driven, not logically persuaded. You can say everything right, but if your energy feels needy, uncertain, or unstable, she will not trust it. Female psychology is deeply tied to emotional safety, not just comfort, but security in your energy. When a woman senses emotional steadiness, her guard starts to fall. When she senses desperation, her defenses rise again. So the first thing you must do is stop proving your worth to her and start feeling your worth within yourself. Emotional safety is the foundation of female attachment. When you react calmly instead of with anger or pleading, you show strength. When you accept her space instead of forcing connection, you show leadership. Women are drawn to energy that feels grounded. It signals maturity and emotional protection. If she pulled away, it was likely because she stopped feeling safe in your presence. That doesn't mean physical safety alone. It means emotional consistency. If you can rebuild that by becoming emotionally self-sufficient, she will feel the shift even without words. A woman and women are emotionally driven, not logically persuaded. Connection matters more than argument. This is one of the most fundamental truths of female psychology. A woman doesn't fall in love because a man says all the right things or builds the perfect logical case for why they should be together. She falls in love because she feels something deep within her, something that speaks to her emotions rather than her reasoning. When a man tries to use logic to win her back, explaining, convincing, or debating, he unknowingly pushes her further away. Because her emotional world speaks a different language. It listens to energy, consistency, and how you make her feel, not what you say to her. When a woman pulls away or walks out of a relationship, she's not responding to one argument or mistake. She's responding to how she felt over time. Did she feel heard, valued, respected, and emotionally safe? Or did she feel dismissed, misunderstood, or emotionally neglected? Once that emotional connection weakens, no amount of logical reasoning can fill that gap. Because women remember feelings, not words. She may forget what you said months ago, but she will never forget how you made her feel, both in the best and worst moments. This is where most men make a mistake. They try to talk her into coming back, thinking if they just explain themselves, she will understand. But to a woman, understanding doesn't happen through explanation. It happens through experience. If she doesn't feel change, she won't believe in it. You could write her 1,000 messages, but if your energy feels desperate, she'll sense the same emotional pattern that made her leave. That's why when you stop chasing and start healing yourself, her perception shifts. She begins to sense calmness, maturity, and confidence, emotional traits that her psychology naturally responds to. Female attraction is deeply emotional and instinctive. Women are drawn to men who make them feel emotionally safe. That safety doesn't come from control, promises, or even affection alone. It comes from consistency, patience, and confidence. A woman feels emotionally safe when she senses that a man can handle his emotions without making her responsible for them. That means when she distances herself, he doesn't panic or overreact. Instead, he remains grounded. That's the language her emotions understand. It tells her, "This man is stable. He doesn't need me to validate his worth." That sense of inner peace is magnetic to the female mind. Women subconsciously test men through emotional reactions, not because they enjoy drama, but because they seek reassurance. They want to know, can this man remain centered when things don't go his way? It's not the argument that matters. It's the emotional tone behind it. If you get defensive or angry, she reads it as instability. But if you stay calm, open, and emotionally aware, she feels safety. This is the invisible force that pulls her closer. Not logic, not persuasion, but emotional resonance. Emotional connection is built through presence. When a man listens, truly listens, Without interrupting or trying to fix everything, a woman's heart opens. She feels understood. She feels seen. This emotional validation is what builds trust. Many men underestimate the power of listening without trying to control the outcome. Yet this is the essence of emotional intimacy. The more she feels emotionally understood, the more her attachment grows. You must also understand that women feel your energy even in silence. That's why after separation, when you begin to heal, grow, and focus on your own peace, she senses it even from a distance. Energy doesn't need words. When your emotional frequency changes from neediness to stability, she subconsciously feels it. That's when curiosity replaces avoidance. She starts to wonder, why does he seem different now? It's not because you said anything. It's because your emotional presence transformed. A woman's emotional brain, particularly her limbic system, is highly sensitive to emotional cues. This means she picks up micro-expressions, tone shifts, and emotional undercurrents faster than men usually realize. You can't fake emotional calmness. She'll feel it instantly. But you can become emotionally calm by doing the inner work, healing, reflecting, and growing beyond the old version of yourself. When you reach that stage, you no longer need to prove yourself to her. You radiate stability, and that's when attraction reignites naturally. Female psychology operates through emotional memory. That means, even if she's angry or distant, a part of her still remembers how you once made her feel loved. Those memories are stored not in her logical mind, but in her emotional core. When she senses that the energy between you has become safer and more peaceful, those memories reawaken. That's when her heart begins to soften again. She starts to feel drawn back, not because of what you said, but because her emotions begin to trust you again. The power of emotional connection can never be replaced by logic. So, if you want her to come back 100%, don't argue your way into her heart. Feel your way there. Reconnect with your emotional strength, learn to hold your peace, and project calm confidence. Women naturally come back to the energy that feels familiar, loving, and emotionally secure. Be that energy again, not through words, but through who you become. When your presence feels like peace instead of pressure, that's when she will return. Not because she was convinced, but because she felt she belonged there.